Monkey. Monkey.
Ernest!
I don't want to go to school, Mommy.
Ernest, wake up!
Oh.
Today is the first day of the rest of your entire life.
What?
No more sleeping in front of the TV. It's time to get up and move.
Move. Did I buy that condo in Florida that I've been looking at?
Not moving your stuff, silly. Moving your body.
Says who?
Says me. I'm Miss Simmons, and I'm here to show you my new exercise invention, the Simon Says headband.
The what?
The Simon Says headband. Now it's so easy to get your family up and moving. All you have to do is put this on.
Oh, what are you doing?
Here we go. And use the remotes. Simon Says, stand up.
What did you do to my legs?
Simon Says, run in place.
What's happening? My slippers.
See, isn't this amazing, guys? It's just like when God spoke to Abram. God said move, and Abram got up and moved.
I don't like moving.
Come on, Ernest. When God tells us to move, we need to obey. Just like you're obeying me with that headband. Simon Says, do jumping jacks.
I don't like jumping jacks.
Alright, Simon Says, touch your toes.
Am I dreaming? This is not a dream. This is a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Simon Says, chatterbox.
I'm gonna box you.
It's a shame there's no headband God can use to make us move when He wants us to. That's why it's so important for us to listen to Him when He tells us to. Why, you might ask? Well, that's because God keeps His promises.
Well, can you promise to make this stop?
Alright, Simon Says stop. Take that. Great workout, Ernest. Doesn't it feel great to just get up and move?
No. I feel terrible.
Alright, well you get some good rest, my friend. And make sure to listen to when God tells you to move.
Yeah, sure.
And I will see you next week with yet another workout. Later.
What?
No.
hand in the fire for so long, but you show me better. A new kind of love, it's ever the one I want. I'm lifting you higher, higher. There's nothing that I'd rather do. A sweet elevation of praises. There's no one I love more than you. I never knew a love like this before. The kind of life that I cannot find on my own. I've seen the world, but I have never been so sure that I want your heart. God, I just wanna be where you are. Where you are. I just wanna be where you are. Like nothing I've seen, my wildest of dreams don't come close. I've never known better than living like this. I cannot resist you, Lord. I'm lifting you higher, higher. There's nothing that I'd rather do. A sweet elevation of praises. There's no one I love more than you. I never knew a love like this before. The kind of life that I cannot find on my own. I've seen the world, but I have never been so sure that I want your heart. God, I just wanna be where you are. Where you are. I just wanna be where you are. Where you are. I just wanna be where you are. And after all this time, with you by my side, I can't imagine what it'd be like on my own. I've made up my heart, this love is all I've got, and you're the only one I know worth living for. A sweet elevation of praises. There's no one I love more than you. I never knew a love like this before. The kind of life that I cannot find on my own. I've seen the world, but I have never been so sure that I want your heart. God, I just wanna be where you are. Where you are. I just wanna be where you are. Where you are. I just wanna be where you are.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon. Lead me in your love.
The enduring testimony of the Apostle Paul is that God can change anyone. Once a fierce enemy of God, Jesus powerfully called him to repent and offered him forgiveness and a new life. Paul believed Jesus and eagerly obeyed. Now he wrote to countless readers, urging them to place their full confidence in Jesus for deliverance, and to remind them that his eternal treasure is worth more than anything here on earth. Paul reminded them of the faith of Abraham and how he sought after the promises of God as the ultimate treasure, because Abraham believed God. God promised that from Abraham he would create a great nation, and that through his family the Messiah would come. "Leave everything behind," God told him, "and move toward a land I will show you." So Abraham left the only home he knew for a land he knew nothing about. Even with the challenges of famine, family conflict, and the possibility of vicious enemies, he remained faithful to God. Although he was an old man, Abraham set off on an amazing adventure in search of the greatest treasure. Nothing else mattered to him because he believed God. God promised Abraham that his descendants would be so many they could not be counted. God said to Abraham, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have." Abraham knew he could trust God, because when God makes a promise, he never breaks it. Abraham never gave up on the hopeful future that God promised. God was pleased with Abraham and not ashamed to be known far and wide as the God of Abraham, not because Abraham was perfect, but because Abraham faithfully believed in the one who is perfect. It was not because of what Abraham did or did not do, but because he had faith in the one who declared him sinless in the sight of God. Although Abraham was very old and his wife Sarah was unable to bear children, Abraham believed when God said he would bear a son. He knew with full assurance that God would stand by his promise, because he knew nothing was impossible with God. Abraham believed with his last breath that God would keep all of his promises. God promised to make out of him a great nation from descendants as numerous as the stars, and he did. God promised him an heir, and he gave him a son. God promised Abraham the land of Canaan, and years later God delivered the land to Israel. God promised that through his descendants the whole world would be blessed. And many years later God sent his son, Jesus, to be born in the very line of Abraham, to be the perfect sacrifice for the sins of the whole world. Yes, the Messiah came according to the promises of God. He died and rose again, victorious over sin and death. All those who declare Jesus as Lord and believe in their heart that God raised him from the dead will be saved. Abraham caught a glimpse of God's plan and believed. Like Abraham, we can also put our trust in the promises of God and become part of God's family because of the cross and by faith.
Hey everyone, we hope that you are doing good. My name is Pastor Scott, and Pastor Sonia asked me to come and just to share a little bit with you as you begin your new series called Move. And a lot of you may have seen an illustration out there. We thought it was perfect for opening this series, and it kind of goes like this. You talk about the idea of move and how we need to be ready to move when God wants us to move. Well, we think about that and we think about something like a baseball, right? A lot of you play baseball. Maybe you're waiting for Little League to start back up, right? Well, a baseball in my hands is probably worth $4 or $5, whatever the baseball costs, right? Well, if you put this same baseball in, let's say, Mike Trout's hands, man, this baseball is going to be worth 30, 40, maybe $50 million, right? Or maybe it's not baseball. Maybe you take a football, right? Football in my hands, you know, I don't know, maybe 20 bucks, right? 20 bucks for this football. But you put this football in Patrick Mahomes' hands, whoa, you're talking millions of dollars, maybe 40, $50 million, Super Bowl ring, right? MVP, astronomical in comparison. But what about if you take a basketball, right? I'm not very good at basketball, right? So I got to be careful with this one. But this basketball in my hands, maybe $25. It's a nice basketball. But you put this basketball in like Steph Curry's hands, man, we're talking 30, 50, $60 million, who knows, like way more money because of whose hands it's in. That's kind of some sports analogies. But what about when you think about the Bible, some of the lessons that you guys have maybe talked about in the recent weeks or months? Like, take this staff right here. I mean, this is a pretty cool stick, right? This thing right here in my hands, it's going to hold me up, right? You know, it's going to enable me to maybe poke some things, maybe even kind of, you know, punch you, whatever. But you put this staff in Moses' hands, and man, he's able to stretch it out and part the Red Sea. Well, what about this guy by the name of David? You guys have heard about David and Goliath, right? I mean, David, this guy that uses this slingshot. Well, you put a slingshot in my hand, what you've got is a broken window, right? It's not going to go very well. I'm not really good with a slingshot. But you put a slingshot in David's hands, and all of a sudden, you've killed a Goliath bigger than any of us maybe have ever seen. Changes a nation. Well, what about something like a sack lunch, you know, maybe 5 loaves and 2 fish. It sounds like maybe a picnic basket for a couple of us friends to get together. But you put that same 5 loaves and 2 fish in the hands of Jesus, and it feeds an entire community with food left over. And then I think about the fact of maybe a couple of nails. You give me 2 nails, I may be able to put 2 boards together. But you put some nails in the hands of Jesus, in the feet of Jesus, and it can change our life for eternity because he's able to save us. And I think about that thought, whose hands that something's in. And I think about this idea of move. You know, it's very difficult sometimes when God asks us to move, to step out, to do something. It's kind of scary. It's kind of makes me uncertain. Like, I'm not sure if I can do that. But when I think about whose hands that I'm in, then I don't have to worry at all, because I know that God has me. And as long as I put my trust and my faith in him and know that he's got the whole world in his hands and he's got me, man, I can be ready to move whenever he asks me to move. So I'm so excited to see what all God's going to do in and through your lives through this series. Man, we can't wait to see how God asks you to move. Love you guys.